All right, so today we're diving deep into the story of Mark Cuban. You know him now, right? The billionaire, the Mavs owner, the Shark Tank guy. But rewind it all the way back, and it wasn't always private jets and billion-dollar deals. It's actually a pretty improbable climb, close to zero to, well, you know where he is now.
And for you, always wanting to learn fast and learn a lot, this deep dive, we're zeroing in on those big shifts that really launched Mark Cuban's success.
Exactly. We're going to really unpack his whole journey. I mean, Mark Cuban, he's practically a synonym for making it big as an entrepreneur. And we're using a bunch of different sources here, articles, even some YouTube transcripts, all to give you a real solid understanding. The crucial moments, the tough lessons, and those mindset changes, they all added up to him becoming a billionaire. It's pretty remarkable. Yeah, for sure. And you know what's wild? You can see those entrepreneurial instincts early on. I'm talking preteen Mark Cuban. Like, picture this. 12-year-old Cuban going door to door selling garbage bags. Not for like random spending money. Nope. This kid wanted specific sneakers. Paid $3, sold them for $6, and get this, he had some customers on a recurring plan. He even tried selling powdered milk, stamps, coins, newspapers. I mean, talk about early hustles. You could say these were the first signs, right? The foundation of future come.
Absolutely. This wasn't just a kid messing around. This shows he was already figuring out, spot a need, offer a solution. Even back then, selling those garbage bags, it's like he instinctively got it, make it easy for homeowners. Boom, product. And he even had, a mini subscription model going? This early stuff just proves a core idea. Successful entrepreneurs, they fix problems and they keep giving their customers something valuable. That's the key.
That recurring thing with the garbage bags. Man, it's super interesting when you think about all the business models he'd be involved with later on. And it's important to remember this wasn't happening in isolation, right? His dad was a hard worker, an auto upholsterer. He definitely wanted Mark to aim high. His mom was in the mix too, selling fruit baskets. And then there's that little detail about his parents paying him, wait for it, $1 for every 100 pages he read. Talk about putting a value on learning, right?
Exactly. It wasn't just about getting him to read. It was connecting the dots. Effort, learning, reward. It's probably a big reason why he's always been so hungry for knowledge. And it wasn't just passively reading either. High school, Cuban realizes business, that's his thing. So he starts night classes at the University of Pittsburgh at 16. Then at 17, boom, drops out of high school, goes to Pitt full-time. That's focus, man. And even then, he wasn't just chasing money. He wanted to control his own time. That was huge for him.
Yeah, that need for control, for doing things his own way, it pops up again and again. So he ends up transferring to Indiana University. And his first semester there, this is a big one, takes a grad level statistics class. Not only passes, gets an A, that must have been a serious aha moment, like realizing, hey, I can achieve anything if I put in the work. And it probably reinforced that idea of going his own way, not following the usual path.
Definitely. Nailing a tough grad class that early. It likely cemented this belief in himself that he could succeed through sheer hard work and intelligence. And he wasn't afraid to get creative to pay for school. We're talking chain letters, teaching disco lessons to sorority girls. He was resourceful, finding ways to get over those hurdles. And even then, it wasn't just about the cash. He wanted to build something that would last, something with real impact.
Those funding methods, they definitely scream outside the box thinker. And that desire to build something big led to some pretty big risks early on, right? Like investing everything he had plus a huge loan from a professor, $115,000 to buy this bar called Motley's. It took off, proving he knew how to give people what they wanted. But it also taught him a hard lesson: stuff happens that you can't always predict. The bar ended up closing because of an underage drinking incident. Tough break.
Yeah, that bar, even though it was short-lived, it gave him experience. Managing a business, dealing with customers, regulations, the whole... And shutting it down while it was a setback? It's a classic part of being an entrepreneur. Learning from when things go wrong. Even those failures, they can give you insights that shape how you make decisions later on. It's all part of the process.
That's so true. And losing that much money on Motley's, that had to sting. But he bounced back. At 23, he moves to Dallas, only $60 to his name. And this was after getting fired from a bunch of jobs. Mellon Bank, a TV repair place called Tronics 2000, and a software company. Your business software. Talk about nothing to lose, right? He was starting from scratch, literally sleeping on floors, couches, whatever he could find.
That time in Dallas, it really set the stage for everything that came after. Bartending paid the bills while he was hustling, looking for his way into the computer world. Now, he didn't have any formal training, but he landed a sales job at Your Business Software. And this is where that love of learning paid off big time. Every night he was reading computer manuals, his plan, get ahead of the game, know more than everyone else. He truly believed that being passionate about learning, that was the key to unlocking his future.
And that commitment to self-learning, it paid off right away. He was killing it in sales. Customers were so impressed with how much he knew about the software, they started hiring him directly for installations. He was making $25 an hour, splitting it with the store, finally had enough to get his own place. But even though he was great at the technical stuff, the sales, he realized he hated having a boss. Which leads us to that one firing, the one that changed everything.
Yeah, this was a pivotal moment. A client needed him, like right then, to close a big deal, $15,000 worth of software. Problem was, he was supposed to open the store at 9 sharp.
Yeah.
He figured, hey, this deal is huge. It's got to be the priority, even if it means the store opens a little late. But his boss saw it as straight up disobedience. Fired him right there.
It's how Cuban reacted that's so important, though. He's got this famous quote, "It never really matters how many times you fail. You only have to be right once." I mean, that's the mindset of someone who doesn't let setbacks stop them. They're just bumps in the road. And that firing, it lit a fire under him. It was the push he needed to start his own thing.
Absolutely. Getting fired like that, it just fueled his drive to be independent. He went straight to work, founded Micro Solutions. They did PC consulting, software reselling, all that. His first move. Called up all those clients he'd connected with at the software store. He wanted their business. But they were hesitant at first. He was just one guy. No employees, no fancy office, not even a business phone line.
So how did he build that trust? He went all in. This one big client, architectural lighting, he made them an offer. Free installation of the accounting software. Pretty sure it was Peachtree. And a full refund if they weren't happy. All they had to pay up front was the software itself, like $500. And in exchange for taking that risk, he asked if he could use them as a reference.
Genius.
Right. Build credibility by showing you're willing to put your money where your mouth is.
It was a calculated risk, yeah. Showed he believed in himself, in the value he brought. And he knew something else crucial for success. You need different skills on your team. He partnered with a former client's CEO, Martin Woodall. Cuban was up front. I'm not the most organized guy. Details aren't my thing. Woodall, that was his strength, that partnership. That was a big part of Micro Solutions taking off.
Yeah, it's so important to recognize where you're not as strong and bring in people who can fill those gaps. But even with a great partner, they got hit with a huge problem. Their secretary, she embezzled $83,000. I mean, that was almost all they had. $85,000, their whole bank account basically wiped out. That could sink most businesses, especially a young one.
Absolutely, a crisis. But again, Cuban's reaction, it's a lesson in problem solving.
Yeah.
No freaking out, no blaming. He just went into overdrive trying to fix it. The takeaway, he realized no one's going to bail me out. I got to handle this myself. He doubled down, went deep into the world of computers, read every book, everything he could get his hands on. Again, proving that the more you learn, the better equipped you are to handle tough situations.
And that work ethic, it paid off big time. 7 years in, 32 years old, he sells Micro Solutions to CompuServe. $6 million. He could have retired right there, called it a day. He even bought a lifetime American Airlines pass. The plan: travel the world, and in his words, get drunk with as many people as I possibly could. Sounds like a pretty good retirement plan to me.
It does. But that entrepreneurial spirit, it wasn't done. By 95, he's back at it. He has this new idea, AudioNet. Later, it'll become broadcast.com. It started with a simple wish, him and his college buddy, Todd Wagner, they wanted to listen to Indiana University basketball games online. Their initial investment, just $8,000.
And that was visionary, man. They were pioneers, streaming audio, but they saw the bigger picture, video, years before YouTube even existed. They knew it wasn't just for sports either. They thought, hey, we can stream shareholder meetings, earnings calls people can watch during their workday. They were ahead of the curve for sure.
They spotted a new tech trend, and they got how big it could be. That foresight paid off. July 18th, 1998, broadcast.com goes public. First day of trading, the stock more than triples. Boom, Cuban's worth hundreds of millions.
And then comes the big one. 1999, Yahoo buys broadcast.com for, get this, $5.7 billion in stock. Mark Cuban, billionaire, at 40 years old. It's considered one of the smartest Wall Street deals ever. A lot of that's because Cuban understood what was happening with the dot-com bubble. He was playing chess while others were playing checkers.
He knew the market, and he protected his stock like a pro. He used options, something called a caller strategy, selling call options, buying put options. It was smart. This wasn't just luck. This was knowing how to manage risk, how to make sure you keep your wealth. Like you said, when you just chase dollars, it never works out well. Create something valuable, the money usually follows.
And what does he do when he hits billionaire status? He goes online and buys a Gulfstream V jet, $40 million. Back then, that was the biggest online purchase ever. He clearly values his time a lot.
Time is definitely precious to him, more than material things after a certain point. And his next big move, pure passion. He buys the Dallas Mavericks in 2000, $285 million.
This wasn't just a rich guy buying a team. He was hands-on, totally involved, famous for sitting courtside, right behind the bench, yelling at the refs. He changed the whole vibe of the team, and in 2011, they win the NBA championship. Now the Mavs are worth, what, around $2.5 billion? That's a hell of a return.
It just shows, combine business smarts with something you love, you can achieve some amazing things.
Yeah.
But Cuban's clear, business and owning a sports team, they're not the same. A basketball game has a start and finish. Business, it's 24/7, 365, never stops.
No doubt. And he didn't stop with the Mavs. He started HDNet, the TV network, co-founded 2929 Entertainment. And now he's shaking up the pharmaceutical world with Mark Cuban cost-plus drugs. He even said he's cutting back on work to 18 hours a day. Gotta make time for family.
Which brings us to what we can learn from all this. One thing's clear. Cuban believes in hard work, in being ready. He said, everybody's got the will to be successful. But the most important part is the work you do to prepare to be successful. Wanting it isn't enough. Gotta put in the effort.
He's also said life is half random. He gets that luck and timing matter, especially with broadcast.com and the whole internet boom. But he also says be ready to make the most of that luck when it comes your way. Put yourself in the right position to grab those opportunities.
Never stop learning. That's another big one. Remember those computer manuals?
Yeah.
Even now, he's learning Python, diving into machine learning. He reads 3 hours every day.
Ugh.
RTFM, read the freaking manual. That's classic Cuban.
And he's got a knack for spotting trends, jumping on them early, like online streaming, and he's not afraid to take risks. He once said about his early days, I had nothing, so I had nothing to lose, right? It was all about going for it. Betting on himself, that was his move.
And how many times did he get knocked down? Fired from jobs, Motley's closing, that theft at Micro Solutions. He never gave up. Those weren't defeats, they were lessons. About that theft, he even said it was the best thing that ever occurred to him and his collaborators. That's turning a negative into a positive.
Sales, he gets it. He knows it's the heart of any business. He said, once you learn how to sell, it doesn't matter what you're selling. You're a business owner in the making. Connecting with customers, showing them the value. He's been doing it since those garbage bag days.
He also knows you need the right people around you, people with different skills. He said, don't lie to yourself. Each of us has to face the reality of who we are and what we are. Know your weaknesses, find people who are strong where you're not.
Look at everything he's done. There's this drive, this need to shake things up, change how things are done. And his whole business philosophy, he boils it down to this. In business, to be a success, you only have to be right once. That one big win, it can change everything.
So wrapping up this deep dive into Mark Cuban, here's what stands out. Work your butt off, be prepared, keep learning, don't be afraid to take risks, be good at sales, build a great team, and when you fall down, get back up and learn from it. Those are the ingredients of his success.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So here's something to think about. Which of Cuban's moves speaks to you the most? What can you take from his mindset and use it in your own life? That constant learning, taking calculated risks, never giving up, even a little bit of that can go a long way. And remember, even guys like Mark Cuban, they never stop learning.
There's always more to learn, to understand. And stories like his, they show us the ups and downs, the twists and turns on the road to achieving something amazing. Hopefully this deep dive gave you some knowledge you can use right away, and maybe even a little inspiration for your own